Finding the fun in software training. Gamified Microsoft Word training for beginners. Background. SRJ Learning Solutions needs a Microsoft Word course for workers with cognitive disabilities. This course will be included in an upward mobility document management training curriculum. More specifically, the end goal of the course is to guide the learners in writing a resume of their own for potential job opportunities they seek for. User review feedback states that the currently delivered training is too hard, boring, and lacks connection to the real world for the target audience. Focus statement. How can Microsoft Word software training in the workforce be more actively engaging and interactive for learners with cognitive disabilities? How can learner motivation be increased through gamification of technical training? How can software training skill retention be improved through chunking, practice, repetition, and positive reinforcement? Challenge topic. Our goal is to design an interactive and engaging Microsoft Word software training that addresses the needs of the client's employee population, which consists of at least 75% of employees with severe disabilities, the majority of whom self-identify as having cognitive or learning disabilities. Learners are seeking development in basic office skills and upward mobility skills such as resume writing. Brainstorming process. We need a game that is user-friendly and purposeful. One that meets the needs of our learner in reading, cognitive level, and computer experience level. Our team discussed what will be the best way to present the information and decided we will use levels of scaffold the material for learners and present information in chunks. We discussed how material will be broken into chunks, including the need for a strong introduction to the game that did two things: demonstrating how to navigate the game and introducing the story itself, trainer, main character, the problem, and the way to solve the problem. We need to connect our learners to our story and decided to build on the common metaphor used in the workplace of new skills, open door. We need to keep it simple. Green and Battle state, real-life stories are used for creating empathy and dramatization to help participants understand the importance of various concepts, ideas, and real-life challenges. Identify solutions. Finding the fun in software training. Keeping in mind that research has shown that using an engaging narrative is one of the most effective ways to provide meaning for desired actions. And 2020, page 63. We have created a story of a relatable character who, just like our learners, wants a better job. The story unfolds using a metaphor of opening doors. To motivate learners, as they progress, they collect keys to open the next door. Our guide offers explicit instructions for each step of the process with opportunities at each level to review the previous formatting steps before moving along to the next. For example, learners will learn how to change the font size in level 3 and will review the font selection throughout the rest of the levels. This repetition also helps learners understand the need for consistency within a document. Of course, each level has its own challenge, such as deciding what information to include in each section, which is why there is a sample resume for learners to reference. But the sample resume is more than just a reference tool. We wanted our learners to have a personal connection to our game, so we included jobs they may have had and skills they will recognize in themselves. Game sequence. From beginning to end, finding the fun, scaffolds, and repeat steps, so each learners can move forward when they're ready or continue working on a level at their own pace. The game begins with an introduction to navigating the game and the storyline, starting with opening a Word document and explaining people's expectation on how a resume looks. Moving on to including information using different size fonts and including bold, steps are repeated for additional practice. Levels will require learners to repeat formatting steps while including different types of information. As they move throughout levels, they will learn to insert bullet points to showcase information. Each of the later levels requires learners to consider their experiences from different perspectives, including skills they have learned along the way. In the final level, learners name and save their file. The goal is that by the end, not only have learners produced a purposeful Word document they can use in real life, and the satisfaction of knowing they can accomplish a task. Solution rationale. Gamification increases engagement and motivation. We will increase learner engagement by creating a gamified Microsoft Word software training that increases skill retention and increases learner motivation to successfully complete the course. Torrente de Blanco, Moreno Girl, and Fernandez Mazon, 2012, stated that digital games have a great potential to improve education of people with cognitive disabilities. By adding fun to what could potentially be a long and boring training, the learner is more likely to continue working towards completion of the course. Narrative storytelling gives context to practical skills. The gamified multimedia content will include animated storytelling revealing the real-world applications to use Microsoft Word. J. Kumar underpins that the narrative game mechanic draws the player into a story-written game, thus offering players the opportunity to express themselves through the interpretation of a role, as cited in Icano et al. 2020. By combining screencast demonstration of the Microsoft Word application with narrative storytelling in an animated office setting, the technical software skills will be presented in an environment that includes context for the learner in how and when they might be applying the skills in the real-world job setting. Applied practice reinforces newly acquired skills. Basic skills will be introduced via video screencast demo, followed by application practice. Zemk and Zemk, 1995, claim information that goes into the participant's memory will likely be remembered if learners practice remembering information soon after they process it. Therefore, it is important to provide opportunities in the session for review and remembering by means of activities like written summaries, application exercises, and discussions, as cited in Edmonds et al. 2002. Our content will be chunked into small clips, followed immediately by application practice to reinforce learning. Frequent positive feedback provides motivation and reinforces learning. According to Brookhart, 2008, timing of feedback is critical for students with learning disabilities. Feedback should be given as soon as possible while the student is either working on the task or has just finished it for optimum effectiveness, as cited in Weiser 2014. Our training will include frequent feedback that combines recognition of the learner's completion of the task, their attention to the steps in the process, and their persistence toward the learning goals to increase intrinsic motivation as the training is completed, as cited in Weiser 2014. A gamified course map with completion badges will provide visual reinforcement as each level is completed, and audio narration recognizing learners' achievements will serve as positive reinforcement throughout the training. Reminders or hints will be given if the learner struggles with a task. The following pages shows references for the presentation. Thank you so much for your time today.